Launch code. Access granted.
Hello, welcome to GED exam preparation class. I am your host and instructor, Ruben Herrera. And in this lesson, my friends, I like to have a very quick introduction and a very high level explanation of what prisms are, okay? Um, Also known as three-dimensional figures, okay? So I like to start by saying that there is a difference. Most of them are the same. However, there is a difference between three-dimensional figures and prisms. Okay, so there are three-dimensional figures, which most of them are prisms, but not all of them are prisms. Okay, so let me start by first defining what a prism is. Okay, so a prism is a solid object with identical ends, flat faces, and the same cross section along its length. Okay, so in a prism, all faces or all the sides of a prism are flat, and there are no curved sides, okay, or rounded sides. So for example, we have the cube is a prism. The rectangular square is also a prism. That is the three-dimensional rectangular square. But for example, we have the cylinder, which is not a prism because the cylinder has two curved sides. Okay, also the cone is not a prism. The sphere is not a prism. However those are three-dimensional figures. Okay, so let us take a look at what some three-dimensional figures look like. For example, I have some prisms in here. Okay, so I have, for example, the rectangular square. It's a prism and it's right there. That is the three-dimensional rectangular square. And then we also have the cube. And this is what the cube looks like. Okay, very nice. And we also have now some three-dimensional figures that are not prisms, however. For example, we have the cylinder, and this is what the cylinder looks like. And then we also have the cone, and this is what the cone looks like. Okay, very nice. So whenever it comes to three-dimensional figures and or prisms, okay, there are two operations that we can perform, and those are the volume and the surface area, which we're going to learn how to measure this later on future lessons. Okay, so whenever we measure the volume of a three-dimensional figure or prism, we measure all the space inside of that figure. Okay, all the space that takes to fill that figure, inside. Very nice. Now, with the surface area, whenever we measure the surface area, we actually measure the area of all the sides of that prism or three-dimensional figure. Okay, so for example, we have to calculate the area of this, the area of this, the area of this side right here, the side on the bottom and on the back, and then we're going to add them all up, and that will be as the result. The result of all that will be our surface area. Just think about that. This is like a present. This is like a present that is inside of a box, and then we're gonna wrap this gift. And we go out to the store and buy some gift wrap, and we're trying to figure it out, or how much gift wrap do I need or do we need to wrap all this box. So that's actually what we're doing there. We're actually measuring or try to come up with a surface area. Okay, my friends, so that's the difference between those two. We're going to learn how to measure these two in future lessons, and this was just a very high level introduction to prisms and three-dimensional figures, and also how to measure these three-dimensional figures, which we're going to use the volume and the surface area. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson, and I hope that you guys have a great day.
Launch code. Access granted.